Hello everyone. So today we will be discussing about how you can build video to game, where you will be providing video content and then the video content will get analyzed with the help of TwelveLabs, and the interactive learning game as a gamified app would be developed with the help of the code generation of Sambanova's model of fast inference LLMs. So let's have a look. Here you can see there is one sample interactive app. I will just click on this. And here is the video. You can have a look at what it's explaining about. It's about linear regression. And here you can see the app which I have already prepared here. So here you can see as soon as I am putting a point to the upwards, the regression lines is changing. I am also getting a different value of intercept and slope, and here are also the standard error calculation. This is kind of a fun way to understand about a concept like a simple linear regression by interacting it, so that you get to understand, okay, how does this loop line and the regression line works actually. So let's have a look like how you can do. So there are two procedures. First is you can provide the YouTube URL and that get processed, which is widely being used. But the second one is providing a TwelveLabs API key. So you can just put your API key, connect it, and now you can interact with your already indexed or your videos. You can just put it into the TwelveLabs Playground index, and you can just do around it. So to get an API key, you can just go to TwelveLabs Playground and get and generate the API key. So I have already indexed. So I have video to gamified learning as an index, and if I just see, these are all the videos which I have in that already. Okay, so or maybe I can just change it to something else. Let's say video to game is another one I have, and here you can see there are like multiple ones I have uploaded, because that's why there are like multiple videos of similar thing you can see. But okay, let's select this PCA, and I'm clicking on generate from TwelveLabs. So now what's happening? The video which I selected, now it's getting analyzed with TwelveLabs Pegasus model, and then we'll get an analysis result. We'll try to understand how the code is working, what is the architecture, what's the flow. We'll try to understand everything. First, we'll just understand about how the demo is working. Now you can see the game is starting generated with the help of Sambanova, and here the model which has been used is Deepseek v3. So you can see it's live streaming and writing a complicated code in a very faster way. So it will take like less than a minute, like the whole procedure, and your rendered app will just get appeared. So here you can see we selected a PCA having a bit of a mathematics, and live you can just have a look of the mathematical concept which the LLM is writing underline. And here we got that. We got the original data. Also here is the PCA result. So for this data, the PCA result we got is this. Maybe I can just have a different, okay, I can just experiment with it different, and the PCA result will be different as per that. So this is how you can interact. And the second way is I can just provide any YouTube URL. I will see to it that also. Let's have a look at the architecture on how does it work. So the procedure that we have seen at this moment is to generate interactive app from the already TwelveLabs index video you have. So first procedure we did is the API key that I have provided of my own TwelveLabs account. After that, I get all the indexes which are there in my profile, and after selecting the index, I got the videos which I have in that index. As soon as I select video, I I capture the video ID which I share for video analysis procedure. Video analysis which has been done with the Pegasus. So while preparing an index, you need to select the Pegasus. So then the game code generation starts, where we are using Deepseek v30324 with Sambanova, and here we get the app rendered. So this is the one way that we will be taking a look on how easy it is to build on, and how you can extend upon this idea and build your own stuff. The second way is, let's say you have a YouTube URL. Okay, YouTube URL or any other video URL on any other platform. You can just put the URL here. The video will get processed as per understanding of which platform it is, is it supported, is it not supported, how to handle that. And then here the indexing starts, get indexed properly into the TwelveLabs platform, and then the same procedure starts, like video analysis, game code generation, and here you can see the app got generated. Second thing you can do here is, let's say you didn't like that app. I mean, let's say you want to explore the variety of that. So one way you can do is regenerate. So you can just click on regenerate. It will directly go here. It will not go through the whole procedure again, because it's already been indexed, right? So that is the one thing. Or you can extend upon this idea by just having a maybe a prompt like area, where you just write a prompt on, okay, what is the exact thing you want, or what is the variety you want to experiment with, something like that in the prompt. And that will just go, not even here, it will just directly go here, and it will just tell to the LLM to fix upon it. So that is one of the idea you can extend upon this. And this is the whole architecture of the application. So let's have a look at the app on the repo. So This is the repo, Video2Game, where you can find all the details, um, as in the approach, the .env files, what is needed to be there, how you can install it. The front end is built with Next.js, the back end is with the Flask API, and the local set, the local setup, then the local setup here. So this is for the front end. For the back end, you can check with the backend slash. So for backend slash, we'll just go here, backend. So we'll be mainly focusing on the backend. Let's go to the app and let's go to the routes and API. So in API, the thing which we need to consider is the flow of the 12 labs. Okay, so let's have a look at this. How does it work? So here it's just importing some of the part of sample game service, 12 lab service, Sambanova service. So we will be discussing about everything. The main thing here is it loads sample game service, and then it checks if not video ID, if not API key. So to get that app stable, until unless the video ID is not selected and API key is not selected, the further procedure of generate won't happen. Okay, so this function is when the trigger happen. When you click on generate, this function starts. So before that, before looking to this, we can look to the 12 lab service. So as soon as you provided your 12 labs API key, it gets here. Then the next step, you get to see the drop down of all the indexes you have. So we get that from get indexes here from self dot client. The client is here, the API key which you provided, and dot index dot list. And as per that, the index name in the drop down appears. The next thing, when you select the index ID is what been selected from that, and with using that index id, client.index.video list, so we get the whole list of videos we have in that particular um, index. And then we are just having and iterating it to have a proper format of only the information that we need, only the id, the name and duration, that will be showcasing in the drop down. So if you see the thing we discussed here, so this is where we got all the indexes, and then we got the video list. So this is what I'm talking about. Next, we got this. Now let's go to the API again. And in API, that is the other process for the YouTube URL one, but this one we are focusing. So that's why this API. And now we have everything. Now I clicked on the generate button. As soon as I click on the generate button, it just checks to get the API key of 12 labs. After that, it goes to the prompt to get the prompt of the analysis, and then it sends the video ID and the analysis prompt. So we have the video. When we select the video, we get the video ID, with that the prompt. So let's have a look at the prompt. So prompt is crucial here. The analysis prompt is this, which says that the model have the character as a product designer. Now analyze the whole video content and make it something like an interactive web app. I have also provided the example here, and with the specification that it should be an interactive, it should be a complete app, and also the response should be as a specification, as a spec. So I just provided all the details here, and it takes it and it just provided the result. So we come up here, we got the result, which is stored in video analysis now. Now we trigger the Sambanova service. So in Sambanova service, we are just taking the base URL and the API key of that. So you can just go to sambanova.ai and you can generate your API key. You will get the free credit of $5. You can experiment with that. So I have just configured the base URL, and so here you can see it's just the API key and the base URL and also timeout. So that to understand if the stream is working well or not. So in that way. Next here, so as soon as that is configured, you can see what it takes: system prompt and user prompt. So for system prompt, we can look to this. System prompt is like to tell the LLM that you are an expert in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you are a game developer. Now you should have all the respective tags. The application should be responsive, runnable, having all the utility, only provide the HTML application and all. The second, which is the user one, we are providing the video analysis, the result we got from the previous step of the analysis that we have provided here, and the structure of it, and the game element and visual design, so that it's the aesthetics of the theme of the app generated should not vary. It should be like a constrained kind of the background app also. So that's why it's like white background with gray accents and minimal additional colors. And here is the technical part, and again the complete HTML file. We'll go back to the Sambanova again. Now, after the API is configured, we have self.client.chat.completion.create, where we are providing the Sambanova model, and then the system and user prompt here, and with the temperature that is all been configured, like as a zero, it's been on the config file with 0.1 value, top as 0.1, max token as 16,000, and stream true. So it is the very necessary step. Because of that, the streaming was happening. Then the API call got initiated, and the chunks are being shared. I can see print every 20 chunks. This is for also printing on the CMD just for the testing, but here the chunk is going on. And yeah, so this is how the Sambanova service also we get the result. Now the essential step is how you can showcase it or use it in an efficient way. So as soon as I get the streamed HTML, and here the streamed HTML you can see, now my task is to process the HTML content out of it, because it's not always the HTML, it's with some information, or maybe below, or maybe in triple quotes. So you need to have a proper HTML extraction to be done. So here I have HTML content, clean HTML content, validate whether the HTML structure is valid or not, ensure valid HTML. So these are all the functions, internal functions, which you can look onto, and that's why I'm focusing on the major functions here, and these are all the helping functions to make it better. So to make it more robust, I can say. Ensure valid HTML, you can see it's checking like whether there is an HTML, there is a head, there is a body or script. So, or maybe if it's incomplete, then fixing it. It won't happen for after selecting a specific model. So here Deepseek V3 works very well with the context. So if there might be any model which has been selected having the very less context length, at that time this might be helpful, but that won't make it as a good utility tool. So having a good context length here is a major contribution, but for different use cases, different factor can be used. And validate HTML structure to see if it's working or not, and fallback game structure just for a testing purpose. So now we'll just come back to API again. So we just saw like all the utility functions, how it's working. Now we are saving the HTML file as a physical file as .html now. Okay, how the app will render, how, because we streamed in a chunk, right? We need to have a complete only HTML, and that will get rendered. So how does it work? So what I need to do is I will store it in a JSON format where I will give the HTML path, so that to save the thing storage. But you can also say there is another alternative way also. You can implement database integration into it and use it in that way. But here I have used the JSON format, so you can also go for it if you don't want to store that data, you just want to experiment with it or store it in a caching JSON or the physical JSON. So here the data which has been stored is video ID, video analysis, HTML file path, TwelveLabs video, YouTube URL. If it is, if it's not, here it's not, because we are interacting with our video. So we don't have, so that's why it's empty, but for other cases, it's there. Here is the video ID and other stuff, and now we get that. We just saved it in sample game service, not save game. If you want to see, here it's the save game. It's load file and also caching for it. So yeah, it's done. Then after that, everything is done. On the front end part, it just renders by calling the latest application which is generated. So here is the next thing which we can see is with the YouTube URL. The only thing is the additional part of the process of processing of that video, and the indexing is the extra part here. And as per that, the other utility you can find in the GitHub repo. So we can see about it going to the GitHub, and here you can have a look at the TwelveLabs service, what all other things are: get indexes, get videos, analyze video, get video details. This is for the thumbnail rendering for the particular. So when you click on the video, you see there is a thumbnail particularly of that. So the rendering of that. So this is the complete services of that. We can have a look, one more look at the Sambanova service. So in Sambanova service, it's just testing an API connection, the generate game. This is the same function as it is, but for the YouTube URL one, this is for the validation of HTML completeness and this API that we discussed. Let's have a look at the indexing service as we told. So as we have seen here, the processing of the YouTube URL, you can see as soon as it's done, here the indexing starts. This is for the chunking part of that. So if the video is around more than a 59-minute, then it should be broken down into two different videos, and then the indexing of two different should happen. So that is for that logic. And again, here you can see index wide video file, and the indexing video file here you can see is index ID is what has been taken, and the file path where the video is stored. So as per that, the indexing starts and we get the index ID in return. So that was all about the demo. You can do a lot of experimentation with it and make it more kind of fun or interactive things, or to analyze the video well with the help of the LLM. You can do more stuff, as in maybe graph knowledge creation or app creation by analyzing the video, and you can do a lot with it. So that's all for this tutorial.